Today's movie is sports-oriented, displaying a journey of self-discovery, ambition, a display of love and family bond. Summary of the movie: When Love Strikes. The movie begins with a scene where football commentators are introducing the Bet Naija Youth Challenge Cup, a match between Inter Lagos and Remo Stars, which is the home team. They have a track record of rivalry with Inter Lagos. Remo Stars key player Ibukun Saka, aka IBK, had just won 2 matches for them before this time. As the match was about to kick off, we see the CEO of IASA, Nnamdi Okeke, arriving at the stadium. He intends to pick the MVP of the competition by himself, who will be winning the prize of $200,000 and an opportunity to play in Europe. A Bet Naija public relations personnel, Tijani Abagon, welcomed Mr. Okeke. He took a seat with his daughter Ngozi and the game kicked off. There was massive ball possession in the Remo Stars team. IBK's sister walked in and hurriedly took a seat wearing the Remo Stars jersey. While heading for a goal, IBK was knocked off by an Inter Lagos key player. He overlooked, and a few seconds later, he fantastically kicked the ball into the net, and it was the first goal of the match. At halftime, Mr. Okeke and Ngozi discussed with Mr. Tijani, who told them he has seen Ibukun do great stuff out on the field. Mr. Okeke met with the Remo Stars to encourage them before the second half. He told Ibukun he had potential and told him to focus more. In the second half, Ibukun missed a penalty, and this was shameful for him. Mr. Okeke was disappointed. Inter Lagos won the game with 2 goals. In the Remo Stars dressing room, his friend Ebuka encouraged him and told him it could happen to anyone. He also cheered other teammates up and reminded them they were still in the competition. Ibukun hurried to go meet his mom, who had been texting and calling. He accidentally bumped into Ngozi Okeke and spilled her drink. He apologized and offered to buy her another, while they admired each other. She declined, telling him he was obviously in a hurry and there was no need to pay for another. Jason Okpara of the Inter Lagos team walked to them and talked down on IBK. He collected the money IBK held in his hands and told Ngozi to give him a call when she's done with IBK calling him a boy so he can show her how a real man does it. Her dad called her and she left. Ibukun arrived at their laundry place and apologized to his mom, reminding her that he had a game. Later that night, his sister rushed back home after their mom called. She was heavily vexed because Ibukun had refused to fill out his application form to study in Cyprus, a scholarship of $50,000. He said he won't fill it out because he wanted to be a footballer like Baba, his late father, wanted. His sister, Tinuke, told their mom she doesn't think the force she was applying was the best way to go about it. This only made their mom even more upset. She told Tinuke she can go ahead and waste her life, but she would not sit and watch Ibukun try to waste his own life. Ibukun's friend told him to try filling out the form to serve as a backup plan for him. He confronted Jason, who had just walked in when he heard about the money he took forcefully from IBK, and collected the money back. In a dream, we see Ibukun's father cheering him on for a penalty. Shortly after, he fell, he had had a heart attack, and that's how he died. This explained why he could not handle the penalty in the last game. It was game day today. As the match kicked off, Remo Stars had a smooth ride with IBK and his team scoring against Kwara Diamonds. We see Ngozi, Tinuke and Mr. Tijani applauding in excitement. More goals, and this impeccable match ended with 5 goals from Remo Stars and none from the Kwara Diamonds. Turns out they practically spelled Kwara with their goals. While walking out of the stadium, IBK's sister thanked him for filling out the form, and Ngozi got out of her father's car to say hi to him and told him her dad wanted to see him. He invited Ibukun and Tinuke, who he called IBK's manager, to a gala night. At the gala, IBK and Ngozi stared at each other with admiration. Tinuke left them to talk. They sat together, and Ibukun asked her if she thinks he can win. She told him truthfully Jason has her vote, but he has more skills than Jason does, but he tends to drift off in his games and lose focus. She told him that it was something that cannot be overlooked in Europe. Mr. Tijani joined them and Ngozi introduced him to Ibukun. Tinuke noticed this from a distance and angrily made her way to them. She asked IBK to introduce him to her, which he did. There was an uncomfortable energy. She said she would like to discuss future sponsorships as she is IBK's manager, and they stepped outside to talk. She asked him what he was doing and he said he just wanted to meet his son. She reminded him that they agreed on this. He said he was not going to tell him that his late dad is actually his grandfather or that his sister is actually his mom. Ngozi overheard them and Tinuke begged her not to tell IBK, and she said she wouldn't. IBK, Jason Okpara and 2 other footballers were the nominees for the MVP award with a prize of $200,000. Tinuke told her mom about Mr. Tijani and she got very upset, accusing Tinuke of supporting this football thing because she feels it exposed him for Tijani to see him. At their photo shoot, Jason Okpara intentionally ran into Ibukun and stepped aggressively on his ankle. He sprained an ankle, luckily, but he couldn't play the next game. Remo Stars still won with goals by his friend Ebuka and an effective defense. Their victory obviously frustrated Jason. IBK told his friend about the email he got from the school in Cyprus. Apparently, the exam is on the same Saturday as their final match. Wisely, his friend told him he had only football as an option, but IBK had many options, but he is the only one that will decide. Still indecisive, Ibukun reached Ngozi for advice. They agreed to meet at the poolside of the hotel she was staying at. He narrated his confusion to her and how he didn't want to let everyone down, especially his late dad. He said he already feels he killed him because he had a heart attack at one of his games. This startled Ngozi and she told him his father is still alive, saying she overheard Mr. Tijani and Tinuke talking about it. IBK got mad on hearing this. She said his family was watching him hurt and they are doing nothing about it. He told her not to talk about his family like that because he knows what they've all been through. From how his mom is no longer her happy self, his sister returning from the States for him, and so on, after which he walked out. He cried home. On reaching home, he angrily knocked on Tinuke and their mom's door. He told Tinuke that he knows he wouldn't get an answer from Mama, so he is asking her who his father is. They were in shock. She got out of the box after telling him to calm down. She told him she got pregnant when she was 16 years old. She narrated all that transpired. They were too young to get married, so the Reverend called Baba when they tried to get married. They were in love, but both their families separated them. IBK was disappointed and he didn't understand how such a big lie was considered love. He left for Ebuka's and told them he needed space. By the next day, Tinuke had dropped off some of IBK's wares and the letters she and TJ wrote each other for years with a note that read, "This will explain everything, take all the time you need." He sat back and read them and saw their pictures too. After practice, he ran into Mr. Tijani. At this point, he understood everything, having read the letters. Their conversation was very productive, and TJ established that he isn't trying to take the place of Baba as his father. He just wanted him to know that he has a friend who cares about him. After breakfast, IBK told Ebuka he's coming. He missed warm-up. Ebuka met Tinuke, saying IBK was nowhere to be found. After looking all over, he was seen at his Baba's graveside where he met his mom and realized she always listened to his games on radio by Baba's graveside. The game started without IBK, but he hurried to meet up with them after talking with his mom or grandmom. IBK arrived and they put him into the match. He was in his head for a while. Afterwards, he scored their first goal and Jason of Inter Lagos was frustrated and bitter. Their second goal from Ebuka got the crowd cheering beautifully. The match came to a penalty time in a set of 5 turns. Inter Lagos scored 3 and missed 2 goals. Remo Stars scored 3 and missed 1. Now it was up to IBK to determine their win. I am certain his last missed penalty made everyone worried, and he scored. It it was victory for Remo Stars, Mr. Okeke was impressed. Ngozi joined him on the field and they kissed.